Hello, this is Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Today we're recognizing our Houston legend. You know her well. You've seen her out in the community representing us. She's heading up Baker Ripley. She's their CEO. Claudia Aguirre is joining us today. She has done so many important things in this city, and we're going to learn more about her. Please welcome the CEO of Baker Ripley, Claudia Aguirre. Thanks for being here.
Oh, Dr. Murillo, thank you so much. What an honor, not only to be here with you, but for the award. Thank you.
Well, you do so much, and it is a big operation. And I remember when you were working there, and you were being considered for the role, and it's been such a delight to get to see you develop and grow and just own this entity in a way that is making us proud. It's a tough job.
Yes, and I do it on behalf of the 1,400 people we have on our team, but mostly 500,000 people that we serve every year.
Yes.
That's who this is work for,
Yes.
so thank you.
So what do you think it is about your upbringing that has prepared you for this role? But more than prepared you for the role, is that you have such empathy for the people that you serve.
Yeah, so Laura, I always say my father turned his light off so that mine can shine. When he brought us here, he did it under one goal, was to have the American dream. And when we crossed over and we moved to El Paso, we had had a pretty good life up until then. We lost everything after the economy crashed in Mexico, and we needed to get help. We needed to ask help, and it was not done in a respectful way. It was the services, the help that we went after was not done in a respectful way. And I used to think about how hardworking my dad was, how hardworking my entire family and everyone. And I just knew that there would be a different way to help and support our struggling families. And so now this is what I do. I have a legacy of supporting people like me, like my family, and really just getting them up and winning their American dream.
Yes, and isn't it very interesting that as you reflect, especially during the last 3 or 4 disasters, that even the middle class is suffering, and you see the cars that they're driving, sometimes in some of your food distributions, that it's impacting sometimes the best of us.
Right. Any one of us, I think about Harvey and the NRG shelter that we opened, any one of us is one step away from a Harvey. And we saw that recently with COVID. Mm-hmm. We see that just folks that have been working really hard, and then all of a sudden something happens, and then it just sets them back. Times are tough right now. Times are really tough, and so many times we see people come to the centers balancing their budget. If they can come and get food, then they don't have to pay for food. They can come and get support. They don't have to do this with their money. So it is tough. It is tough. But at the same time, Dr. Murillo, I would want to say, we talk about this economic and socioeconomic of our families. We know that we don't have an unemployment problem here. It's an underemployment. So we've got folks like on the pipeline, and we're getting them stuck. They're stuck right there, and we need to keep pushing them up the pipeline. And the middle class is really seeing tough times that they hadn't seen before.
Mm-hmm. And so many services. I don't think people really understand the number of services and partnerships that Baker Ripley has.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know now what the number is. I think at one point it was 75 distinct interventions. But I think that's the whole point about this, is that none of us, if we think about our life, none of us need or desire one thing, right? We want our kids healthy, we want our kids in school, and so that's what it is working in our communities. We have to think about it holistically, right?
Yes.
We can't do it on the back of education, housing, basic needs. We got to do it all together.
Yes.
So that's our strategy, is that to be able to bring everything together to really support our families.
And in saying that, certainly certainly you work a lot with not only the people who need it the most, but also the people who can give and donate and participate the most with corporations. And Houston is a unique city. We have very philanthropic people, but your voice is an important one. Both you and I serve on the Federal Reserve Board. Those conversations critically important to our economy. So how have you navigated those waters?
You know, when I got to the Federal Reserve, I was excited because I thought, for one, you know, oh, we're going to bring the voice of our communities to this important table. How exciting. And after being there, as you know, it's really much more than that. It really is being able to navigate and to think about what you're leaving for this city. Yes. The decisions that are being made around those tables, the decisions that are being made with our partners. I think about like Verizon and Shell, the partnerships, those things that we're leaving the learning innovation centers behind. Those are the amazing things that will be there way after I'm gone, way after I leave, and they will already been making a very much difference in our communities.
So Claudia, one of the things that I enjoy asking people about is what they were like when they were children. So you strike me as a very curious little girl that was all over the house trying to do multiple things at once. Am I close?
Very close. So I'm the middle child. And so I think my parents said that I was always trying to get attention. The oldest one was the, you know, go-getter, get it done. The small one was the baby. And I was always needing attention. So, and it ranged. I was, you know, really, really bad one day and really, really good another day. But the curiosity that I had as a child, I think, really has led me to thinking about, you know, future and looking at our family. So it was an interesting dynamic at the house.
Yeah, and here you are, mother of two, almost adults, I guess, or one is, she's already graduated from college and is going to law school. And so you've been a single mom for a long time as well. And again, I think that experience has prepared you for many of the people, many of the women who come to Baker Ripley.
Right. You know, I've been real fortunate that a lot of my support came from mentors and, you know, family members. But it's been rough. I mean, trying to navigate, you know, as you know, trying to navigate professional life, motherhood, and family caretaker. It's been really a rough, you know, moment, but I'm so proud of them. I'm proud of both of them. I am proud of how this, you know, everyone just really rallies around me and really helps me out.
It is a big job. I mean, let's not make any mistake about it. You have a board of directors, you have community expectations, you have corporate partners, and it's intense.
I'm really privileged, though, Dr. Murillo. Let me just tell you that this is the epitome of being at a civic club one night to around the governor's table of the Federal Reserve, all in one day.
Yes.
And you have to be able to navigate it. And so you got to keep a little bit of humility. You got to keep a little bit of, you know, thick skin.
Yes.
It's sometimes rough. You know, it's not always easy walking into a room that people don't look like me that have walked in. And so, you know, the imposter syndrome hits sometimes, you know, oh, am I going to do this enough? Am I going to be this great for our communities? So it's rough, not just physically, it's a 24/7 job, but on your mind, on your heart, when you see the heartache of some families that you've tried to help and then, you know, the setback. But it's the biggest privilege of my life. It is the biggest privilege.
Well, and that's why we wanted to recognize you as one of our Houston legends. You are making a tremendous difference. And as women, we often are in charge of so much more than just our careers. So much falls on us as women, and we count on that support system. So I'm so proud of you, Claudia.
Thank you.
And I've just enjoyed seeing your upward trajectory and seeing you, as you mentioned, you know, with the people and in very important places where many of us are privileged to be at, and it's a heavy responsibility, but you do it so graciously. I'd like to end with you telling us something that you hope your children will think of you as and your legacy. What would you like your children to believe is your legacy to them?
You know, I told you about like my father turning his light off so we could shine. I'd like my legacy. I'd like my children to be able to say, my mom had her light on and turned ours on too.
Nice.
And then that our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren, that they will think of me as that lever that was switched for their generation.
Absolutely. Well, that's a beautiful answer. Thank you so much, and we want to thank you for joining us here on KHOU 11 and our Odyssey stations. Thank you.
Thank you.
A small group of business leaders had a vision. We hope to serve as the voice of Houston's Hispanic business community.
Our first meeting was at the Mexican restaurant downtown, who agreed to open up for breakfast. And we didn't have any members, but we had 21 people who said they would like to be on the board, depending on how this thing went. In 2007, we were very obvious it was almost going to be dissolved. And with the growth of the Hispanic population in Houston, it was just, it would have been a tragedy. Which is unfortunately had happened in other cities. Tremendous accolades to you, Dr. Murillo. The growth under your leadership has just skyrocketed. It's been exponential. Like it was always going up, but all of a sudden shot way up.
In 2007, the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Board was led by Chairman Edgar Colon. That year, the board hired Dr. Laura Murillo as the Chamber's full-time president and CEO. 3 months later, the Chamber's office lease expired. The Chamber negotiated a 10-year in-kind lease agreement with Amegy Bank. The board and staff developed a 10-year strategic plan and amended its bylaws and procedures, which led the Chamber to become a staff-driven organization. Soon thereafter, the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce boldly proclaimed itself as the leader of Houston's new majority, firmly planting a stake in the ground. By 2008, the Chamber had set unprecedented record-breaking increases in revenue, memberships, attendance. Also in 2008, the Chamber launched an English language television program on KHOU CBS, which remains on the air to date, followed by a radio program which airs on 6 stations and a Spanish language radio and television program on Univision. With a combined audience reach of 3.3 million, the Chamber's media platform is the only one of its kind in the country. Despite the 2008 challenges, the Chamber's membership surged from 300 members to 4,000 plus. Programs and services continued to expand, leading the Chamber to renegotiate its lease from 2,500 square feet to 10,000 square feet, which added conference space for small business seminars and programs. By 2009, the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce was awarded the Large Chamber of the Year and Regional Chamber of the Year by the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. By 2010, the American Marketing Association named the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce the Marketer of the Year. In 2011, the University of Houston bestowed its highest honor, the President's Medallion, to the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for the Chamber's impact. In 2011, the Greater Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Foundation was established. In 2012, the Emerging Leaders Institute was designed to identify and develop young professionals. From 2012 through 2015, the Chamber emphasized its strategic initiatives. And in 2015, the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce rebranded itself. The redesign included a new logo, website, visual identity, and social media presence. The American Marketing Association recognized the Chamber's work by naming it the 2016 Marketer of the Year for a second time. As the Chamber moves forward, its impact and relevance are ever more important, so we can continue to serve as the leader of Houston's new majority.
Gosh, what a great organization. What great leadership from Dr. Murillo. You always want to go where the future is, and this is where the future is. And when you look at this people, the quality of the production, everything about this organization and the leadership, this is what you want to be a part of.
I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So happy to be here at the KHOU 11 studios with none other than Laura Ward. You've seen her out in the community doing phenomenal things with the Houston's Children's Charities. Today, we're recognizing her as our Houston legend for the work she does in the community and so much more. Laura, thank you.
Well, thank you for the recognition. I've never been called a legend.
Well, you know what? Today is the day, and
Well,
it's been
very
long
kind of
overdue.
you. Very kind
You've
of
done
you.
some extraordinary work, but I think what had brought, so much joy to these families, and we see you at the galas, and we see you all dolled up and just always stunning and beautiful. But to see you with the families, awarding the vans, and seeing the smiles on those faces and the changes that will happen as a result of the foundation was touching. Thank you for inviting me to experience that and see that. And it takes a lot of people, but it takes a great leader. Why has this been your passion?
Well, I grew up one of 9 children, the second of 9 children in Louisiana. And we always had everything we needed. We didn't have everything we wanted because Mom and Dad were certainly focused on not giving us everything we wanted. But we lived in a rural area where most of the people around us, very many of them, did not have what they needed. And I learned at a young age in Catholic school that you give back. And then I would go home and I learned it at home because my mother and father were constantly doing little random acts of kindness on a daily basis. The stories are so many and the memories are so many. So I learned very young that that was a life's goal of our family, was to always share, whether we had a little or a lot. You just shared it. You gave some of it back.
Yes.
It was rather a service before self attitude in our house. And it went with me to college, and it went with me in my younger years when I was raising my children, and it stayed with me. It's always stayed with me that you have to do that.
Yes. And your years at LSU, would you ever think that you would be running a foundation helping families? I mean, what did you think you were going to do when you were at LSU?
Well, when we were at LSU, I was in a sorority.
Okay.
And every Sunday we went to the Baton Rouge School for the Blind. And we had a play afternoon with the children.
Yes.
And it was, I looked forward to it all week. I loved Sunday afternoons. And then one Sunday afternoon, you could choose not to go. And I rarely chose that because I just looked forward to it so much.
Yeah.
So being the second of 9 children, you almost feel like you're running a charity at the house because you're doing for the younger ones every day, all day. So I never questioned the fact that this would be my life. Didn't realize it would turn into a career, Laura, and I've never been educated in it or schooled in it. I have no formal training in philanthropy or fundraising or any of it. I learned by doing. It was on the job training for me, and my very first fundraiser was 33 years ago in the gymnasium of my children's private school, and we had a $5 a plate spaghetti dinner.
There you go.
And I realized then I could ask people for money and they would give it to me if it was for a good cause.
Well, and
That's how it began.
And look at you now, having raised over $100 million. No small feat.
Well, it's daunting to hear it, but yeah, I have, and I'm very grateful. But you said something in the beginning. That money only came because of the village that was with me, behind me, and supported me. I've never raised $1 alone. It always takes a village.
Yes.
And I'm hoping our young children realize that. That life is fleeting, but passion is not. Motivation can be fleeting, but inspiration is what stays. And if you're inspired by somebody or inspired by something, then that can't become a career. It can be your passion that becomes a career. I worry that our leaders today, my age, when we're gone, I worry that the level of philanthropy in Houston can sustain itself because it's needed.
Yes.
23% of our children, Laura, live at the poverty level in Houston, Harris County rather. That's daunting, 23%. And 20% of those children go to bed hungry every night. They're food insecure. They get one meal a day. It's normally at school. So I throw those figures out and I speak it all the time when I'm speaking to younger people or people across the board in Houston that we need to mitigate the suffering and the difficulty that parents of these children wake up to every morning. It's our role to help those parents. They're the heroes.
Yes. They absolutely
They're the heroes. They
Yes.
are the heroes, but we have to help them. We have to provide
Absolutely.
them with support and resource.
And speaking of support and resources, every year that I go to your gala, it seems like we're sardine in there ever more so, and people want to help. And it's everything from your board of directors to, I saw you guys were prepping all of the backpacks for back to school, and the smiles and the hard work that your team, you can see the smiles on their faces, but you also see the smiles on these families' faces. I mean, have there been any in particular that have just stayed with you? And you've got so many memories.
Well, the children, tomorrow we'll give away 4,500 backpacks, thanks to Rod Ryan, who raises all the money and has done this for us now for 15 years. That's what I'm talking about when I say inspiration is lasting. A 15-year commitment to any cause is truly inspiring.
Yes.
And the stories that stand out to me are the families that we will provide Christmas to the same family we give a backpack to the same family we give a van to. We embrace our families and we don't lose sight of our families. We don't forget them. We gave out 35 vans last year, and those 35 families became a part of our family.
Yes.
We check on them at Christmas. We check on them at Easter. We check on them for back to school. We don't just give the van and they drive away. They become part of the Houston Children's
Yes.
Charity family. And that's how our family has grown. You mentioned our gala, and our very lofty goal this year is that we will raise $4 million at our gala. And I don't know for certain, I'm looking for the numbers, but I don't think there's a local charity in Houston that is not affiliated with the arts, just a local charity that has ever raised $4 million in a single night. Mm-hmm. But we're going to do it because we're not going to stop till we do it. Once I announce a goal and set a goal,
It's done.
don't stop short.
It is done. Well, I know your team is going to, with their tennis shoes
we
and
have
whatever needs to happen on those phones, your board and others are going to rally to make that announcement.
They always
to
do.
say it is done. And I look forward to seeing that big smile on your face when
Thank
you
you,
get
Laura.
it done.
Thank you.
And it's just been a beautiful, just watch all of the things that you've been affiliated with. And of course, your marriage, of all same age to our beloved Dave Ward, and the recent sign that is dedicated, the
Yes.
street sign. That's been a journey for you as well.
Dave and I have been together 24 years now, and it's complex because Dave's life is huge. It's large, and my life wasn't as large when I married him, and mine, this charity has just been consuming.
Yes.
And the need has risen exponentially year by year. Laura, when we first started a bed program, about 100,000 children a night were going to sleep on the floor. Today it's 350,000 children every night in Houston, Texas sleep on the floor. And that for me is so, I hate to say unacceptable, it seems trite. It's shocking. It's shocking that we sleep in our Tempur-Pedic beds and our wonderful beds, and I have the most wonderful mattress sponsor, Texas Mattress
Yes.
Makers, and makes the best mattresses in the world. And we give away 150 beds a month, and there's still 300,000 children a night sleeping on the floor. So yeah, it's my marriage to Dave has been complex because we both have such large lives, and sometimes just making time for it all is really difficult. Dave has been so supportive of Houston Children's Charity, and he remains on our advisory board.
Wow. We're so thankful that he's been such a big part of this city. And as you said, both of you with very large lives that have been so impactful for so many people. And I'm sure folks that you've not even met, that the charity has been absolutely a lifesaver, a game changer for. When you think of younger people, you mentioned it earlier, right? You're concerned about the next generation. We're seeing people, the priority is working from home, being remote, and perhaps not as engaged. What can we do as people who are already out there doing our part to pass on some of this knowledge to this younger generation?
Well, you hit a nail on the head that's sensitive to me. I understood during COVID that people had to work remotely, but it definitely has changed the fundraising landscape. Mm-hmm. It's changed the philanthropic landscape of Houston. If you're working remotely and you're not home, and you're at home, and you can't touch it, see it, and feel it, you won't remember it. Mm-hmm. And as I talk about, motivation is temporary. Inspiration is consistently lasting. It's hard to get inspired just sitting at home in front of your computer working remotely. It is not difficult to be inspired when you do what you did and came to one of our van distributions and you see the families and you speak to them, but you wouldn't have been so touched that day if you watched it on television from your home. So I know the value of working remotely. I know the economics of it for corporations. I know all of it, but it has definitely changed the landscape for those people working remotely, embracing causes, because you have to be up close and personal to really be inspired by something. That's my feeling.
Yes.
I'm sure there are people watching that'll say, Laura, you're just wrong. Mm-hmm. But I've seen it. I'm dealing with it.
Well, and especially in the work that you do.
Right.
It is so very important to see it, to feel it, to understand all of the idiosyncrasies that are not involved in an email or behind a computer screen. So we see that.
Totally.
As we wrap up, I ask the last question to all of our Houston legends, and that question is, what would you like for your legacy to be?
Well, I heard you ask that question a few moments ago, so I thought, she's going to ask that question. I've not thought about it. I believe that you live your life, and your life creates a legacy. I've never thought about leaving a legacy, but I go back to something that I read years ago that Mother Teresa said that one of my favorites. She said, not all of us can do great things, but each and every one of us can do small things with great love. And I absolutely love that. I've told it to my children. I tell it to everybody. It's one of my favorite quotes from Mother Teresa, who is one of my most inspirational people in my life. So I think if my children, my grandchildren, my friends, my family can look at the way I've lived life and take one small part of it and say, I'd like to do that, then that's my legacy.
Well, you've done it already.
Thank you, Laura.
Thanks for all you do. Thank you for being a great, great inspiration to so many people in this great city that we have, which is Houston, Texas. And I can't wait to hear the final, we did it, of $4 million in the fall.
It'll be $4 million.
It will be, and maybe more. Thanks for joining us. As always, we're happy to bring you some very extraordinary people who've lived phenomenal lives and given back to this great city. And for this and more, we recognize Laura Ward as our Houston legend. Thanks for joining us. The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for the Hispanic business community. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our board and staff for making sure we elevate business and advocate for a stronger economy.